r/Askreddit by Robotainment. What looks easy peasy lemon squeezy, but is actually difficult lemon difficult. Apparently figuring out what the opposite of easy peasy lemon squeezy would be. A rowy towy lemon puffy. Drawing something from memory like a bird or something, in mind. Yep, that's a bird. On paper, that's a bird. Draws squiggly lines far away in the horizon birds. Maintaining friendships from high school/college. After you graduate, people get so busy with work and starting their own families that friendships get put on the back burner. You stop talking to someone for a few months, then it suddenly hits you that you're no longer friends with the person. Reach back out though everyone understands, and I've rekindled and kept in touch intermittently with so many amazing people. Yes, we're not best friends who talk every day, but if shit went down I could give them a call and vice versa, and when we do get together it's a great time. Actually doing things, in theory it's simple, just do the thing. In reality I procrastinate until I hate myself. Self-discipline is the single hardest skill to master in this world. That makes it so easy to just not. Digging anytime it's shown in movies or TV it looks easy af, but the second you have to grab a shovel and break dirt, bleh. Here, just let me dig up this 6-foot deep grave with a shovel. 0.20 minutes later, welp, all done. Beekeeping, you see videos of these old dudes in their veils and beekeeping suits, and it makes it seem so relaxing and easy. Turns out that bees aren't so good at finding enough food on their own, and they can get sick really easy, and in the winter they can mold. Have you ever seen moldy bees? Sometimes they're not even dead. It's still worth it though. Edit. Thank you so much fellow beekeepers. I didn't have time to answer a lot of the questions. And in looking through the questions, I saw a wonderful beautiful community bringing awareness and knowledge. Also, obligatory thank you for the gold. I'm glad my plight with bees has garnered so much attention, and I really appreciate the insightful knowledge that is being shared here. Have you ever seen moldy bees? Sometimes they're not even dead. Wah. Fuck you duvet covers, fuck you hard. Edit. Harlocrap. I thought it was just me that had lifelong problems with them. Rippin' barks, and massive thanks for the gold and silver. Finding the person I always saw myself falling in love with. Are you the person that person is going to fall in love with? Edit. Thank you for all the awards. I'm a little shocked and saddened at the amount of people who took this comment negatively, even calling it toxic. Everyone deserves to be loved, and self-reflection is not bad. Just look for the right one. Be someone else's right one. Flying remote controlled helicopters. It looks so effortless when watching seasoned flyers, but in reality it's like balancing a marble on an upturned bowl. I'll never forget the time I went out and bought a decently priced helicopter. 0.5 minutes into setting it up, I didn't even get it 3 feet off the floor before I smashed it into a chair, destroying the rotor blades. I tried maybe like 5 to 6 more times before I gave up, and now it hangs in my garage as a monument to my failure. Edit. I was outside. Finding a career you'll want to go to every day that won't crush your soul. Remember when you were young and teachers told you that you could be whatever you wanted to be? Yeah, not so realistic. When you want to pay bills and maybe have a little beer money too. I didn't go to college and struggle with the thought of not being able to have a lateral career move without a degree, but then I see my friends absolutely floundering with their student loan payments and think maybe I don't have it so bad after all. All the feels for this. I only wish I hadn't bought into the college is the only way to go mentality. By 21 my life goal was to not be miserable, and everyone assumed I was depressed as all hell, but this is what I meant, is finding some sort of career where I didn't want to blow my head off just having to show up to work every day. One of the things I sincerely wish I had discovered earlier was that college doesn't guarantee that path. Took me 4 tries for a proper degree and another try at a tech school to discover that what makes me happy is farming. Like, literally I was gifted a dozen chickens and was like, this the simple life, digging in the dirt and raising animals, and it's hard, and so far I still struggle with the beer money, but I'm happy, and I love my damn birds so much. Just wish I would have found this before I took out $10,000, in student loans, which I know is a small amount by comparison, but still hangs over my head. I went to college, grad school, got a PhD, and work in a senior role at a highly coveted company. I still don't feel happy. The one thing I've learned after all these years is that happiness is not defined by title or company affiliation or number of letters after your name. My resume won't be on my tombstone, but in many ways, I'm stuck because of the responsibilities I have now and all the people in my family and my profession I'm accountable to. I feel like I'll always be in the pursuit of happiness rather than enjoying the moment I'm living in. A basic physical exam at the doctor. Looks like a simple look at the throat, listen to the chest, yup they have a heart alright, when in actuality doctors spend thousands of hours practicing it, so that when you come in with a murmur or funny looking kid syndrome they can recognize it immediately. And yes, there are entire class sections on how to respectfully ask your patient to turn their head and cough as you push on their balls looking for hernias. And yes, there are entire class sections on how to respectfully ask your patient to turn their head and cough as you push on their balls. I swear the sight and what it looks like has helping me study for a test. Writing a post or comment on Reddit that gets recognition. Nah, it's like carpet bombing, throw a lot out there, some of them hit. My comment history is a zillion 1-point comments and the occasional 7,000 upvote hit. And frankly it's a lot less about my own cleverness and more about being positioned in a popular thread. Look up my top comment of all time to see what I mean. It was a quick smartass add-on to something someone else said, but it was in a great thread full of funny stuff. Folding fitted sheets. I've watched instructional videos that make it look so easy, but I always just end up with a crumpled up mess, and that's how it gets put away. The real trick is to only own one sheet, so as soon as it comes out of the wash you immediately put it back on the bed and never need to even attempt folding it. The most common type of ghost is the one in a white sheet with waving arms. These are the spirits of people who died while trying to fold a fitted sheet. I take one of the pillowcases and jam the sheets and remaining pillowcase inside it. Now the set stays together and no folding. Making lemonade. Sure, squeezing one lemon is easy peasy, but do you know how much juice that makes? Not a lot. Fill in the rest with sugar. It's the American way. Those capture things on Google, I can honestly never read them, and the website always thinks I'm a robot. Losing weight. Changing habits is hard. People tend to mistake simple things for being easy. Writing a 250-word open-ended reflection where you're expected to be creative. All I want as a grad student is some goddamn structure, and also a rubric. As you progress through the levels of degrees, it is supposed to become more abstract. High school, you're basically just reciting the book, highly structured, just follow directions. Bachelor's degree, reciting parts of the book and generating some original thoughts within a guideline. Master's degree, capable of independent thought, only referencing knowledge from the book and applying that knowledge in unstructured ways. PhD, you wrote the book. Street names. Everyone thinks it's great fun and likes to offer suggestions, but every tree, lake, and other natural feature has at least a dozen variations which you can't repeat for emergency service reasons. That and you get cities which want a street name change anytime the road changes direction, regardless of a logical breakpoint like an intersection. I legit thought you meant street names like Lilty or Fingers. Natural macup. More work than regular macup. To be honest, this reminds me of a video I watched of a visual effects artist explaining his job. If no one notices your work on the footage, you've done your job well. It's only when you mess up do people notice. Being in your 20s as a clueless kid, I thought by now I'd have everything figured out and my life on track. I'm still clueless, but now I also have depression. In my 30s, still clueless. Whistling with your fingers. I did it once like 6 years ago and haven't been able to replicate it since. Pisses me off. Committing suicide looks easy, but when the time comes, it can be very hard to commit to it. Then you spiral further down the rabbit hole thinking yeah, so shit you can't even kill yourself. True story. Edit. Christ on a bike. Didn't expect such a turnout. I'd like to thank those that gave and all of you sharing bits of yourselves. It's very sad to see so many in the same boat. A little worried it may capsize. Thank you Reddit. Hang in there, not like that. Put the rope down, you've been great. Been there, tried that, drove to the hospital instead of going through with it, felt even worse, because I couldn't even accomplish that seemingly simple task, then felt terrible, because my wonderful husband had to come pick me up. That was like maybe 4,5 years ago. Things are much better, got a dog to help me cope, switched up my thyroid medicine and antidepressants, and set up a series of questions to ask myself and for my husband to ask me to make sure we catch anything before I drop that low again. My first baby just turned 2 weeks ago, and my 7-year wedding anniversary is in a couple days. I'm so glad I failed back then. I hope you're doing well, and if you ever need convincing that things will get better, even if life in general doesn't, you yourself can feel better, then direct message me even better. Get some support around you and be open about what you're going through. I didn't tell anyone for years, and I've got better relationships now because I've talked about it a bit. Dancing, I wouldn't say it looks easy, but when I see people do it, they're so good at it and it flows so well. It looks easy, but damn, I just cannot get my body to do anything more than a bop and maybe some stupid arm moves. I'm 25 and dance like a 50-year-old at a reunion. Dancers are so delicate and make it look so easy. It's honestly amazing. It's just hilarious when I try to do literally anything and fail horribly. All smoke and mirrors. Friends, as a dance teacher, I can tell you confidently that it feels absolutely silly until you just start to sell it. 0.90% confidence, 10% squats. Having fun is step #1. Fake it till you make it. Being an adult, they never had to do homework, could stay up late, eat what they wanted, and had the money. I wish I was a naive kid again. Makes me wonder if parents should be a little more honest about their life, but I guess kids will either see it as one-upping or get stressed, so I dunno. Getting away with murder. Actually, if you go to a large city and kill someone you have no connection to, the odds are you will get away scot-free. For example, the homicide arrest rate in Baltimore and Chicago are about 20%, meaning you have an 80% chance of not getting arrested. Losing my virginity. That's me in the corner. That's me in the fleshlight. Golf, I feel like most people think they can just grip it and rip it, and don't take into account how hard it is to have a consistently good swing with solid contact. I missed the first word as I was skimming and thought you were talking about wanking. Work, I'm a lawyer and had a client call saying she needs a help with a merger, but don't worry, it's super easy peasy lemon squeezy. That project took 6 months and I almost had a breakdown. She didn't understand why the bill was so high since it was so easy. Easy as pie. Pie is the most difficult thing I've ever done / made. Math, I swear to God, pieces of my soul became trapped in math work and perished when I burned them. Edit. Oh my frickety frack, you guys, this is my first award and most upvoted thing ever. Thank you so much. When I was younger I did terrible at algebra and geometry. I failed one and went to summer school for the other. I couldn't grasp any of it, and if I did decent on a test it was because I was looking at other people's answers. Calculus was so out of the question that it would have been ridiculous to bring up as an option for a class to take. Here I'm today at my full-time job doing basic math that I learned from grades 3 to 5. And I kill it. Don't let the difficult math get the best of you, brother. Socializing with people. I have severe social anxiety, and even small interactions with strangers and even some people I've known for a while are really hard for me. I don't hate people or dislike being around them, but I'm just awful at keeping conversations going or initiating them. Outgoing people make it look very easy. For me it is not. Killing Enderman for ender pearls. Just back up against a wall before you hit it. That way when it teleports it can't go behind you. Anytime I come up with a coding idea for how to transform dataset X into pretty visualization, why, oh, that will be easy, I'll just put this into an array, do this then do that, and we'll be good to go. 6 hours later and I'm still dumping the raw objects to figure out what's going wrong. Every time I come up with an idea and get to the execution part, something like this happens. Then I drop it and think about it 6 months later and hate myself even more. Playing an instrument. I played most percussion instruments, trumpet, some baritone, and was first chair tuba / sousaphone for 4 years, and difficulty varies based on instrument and physical attributes. Selling panties online. I've seen a couple posts about how someone could exploit desperate dudes on Craigslist by buying women's panties, spritzing them with perfume, and then selling them online where it's so easy. Nowadays, buyers want to see photos of a real woman and the exact pair they'll be buying, or proof in the form of being panty trust certified. They'll want extras or special requests for their order. Plenty of fetishes to go around. And the vast majority of them will drop off the face of the earth. When it comes time to actually pay, you'll have to sift through hundreds of responses to your ad, knowing most of them will be time wasters just trying to get a little dirty talk or some photos. My advice: don't bother, leave it to the camgirls who make some side cash off selling their panties, because there's always going to be someone willing to go a step further than you, and they will be the one to make the sale. Panty trust certified. It amuses me that things like that exist. Pretty much anything that a professional does, they make it look easy cause it's their job. Throw a football 65 yards accurately. PSSH simple. If you're an elite athlete, cut open a chest cavity to fix a few coronary arteries. It's just another day at the office for a surgeon. Frame up a structural wall within a 200 square feet house. Just a bunch of wooden nails is all you need. Make crowded teeth perfectly aligned. Surely it's just a matter of wearing trays 1 through 55. Voila, it's all straight. In reality, each of these tasks takes someone who trained 4 years to visualize the problem, solve it, and execute it to the T. It looks easy, cause they practiced the hell out of it. Getting 50 karma to post my orange cat is on r/cats. Programming. It's like Lego sets. Anyone can follow the instructions and make the Millennium Falcon, but it's a whole different ballgame when you're given a pile of assorted blocks and someone says, okay, now recreate the Taj Mahal, but the client wants it to look like Big Ben. It also needs to be able to interlock with the Sphinx, the Great Wall, the Eiffel Tower, and the Maojang Temple to create a super monument. Yes, I know the Maojang Temple hasn't been designed yet. Just make some good guesses. We can add parts to it once we know what we need. Rainbow Road on Mario Kart. I still don't think I've ever come first. Ugh. Coding. Watching tutorial. Oh, this is easy. Writing code. Where is the fucking missing semicolon? Where? Writing a long story. I'm about to finish wrapping up my first ever seriously long form piece of writing. It's going to about 160k all told. You may think to yourself, that's not too long. I can read a book that length in an afternoon, or I can knock that out in a month or two, just writing a couple thousand words a day. Or you just tell a story and it all leaps out fully formed. And yeah, I'd be wrong. Writing, as enjoyable as it can be for author and audience, is a lot of work you just don't see. Yeah, you see the finished product, but what you don't see are things like drafts, discarded scenes, variant writings, conversations with editors, free writing exercises, and all the just sheer ideas that come up and don't make it a estimate. I have easily spent more than 1 million words behind the scenes making this project happen. It sounds easy. You have a plot and you make it happen. Starting at page 1 and through to the back cover. A lot of my writing is somewhat out of order. Starting from page 1 is honestly a snoozer-fest, and sure, I don't want to read the part of the fantasy story that's farm boy baling hay, and nobody really likes that part either, unless they're a medievalist and the book goes full Tolkien about how that works. I have probably deleted 75% of all the words I've ever spawned for the product. Beyond spewing words, there's tone to mind, characters to track, continuity, foreshadowing, building, managing tension, avoiding forcing cliches or stupidity, making imagery, dialogue that's nice to read, and also you can imagine being spoken, and this has to all be managed under a word count that's enough for your reader to get the point without boring them or wearing your fingers to nubs. Want to know how long it's taken me to write this thing? 2 fucking years. I've loved it, but hot damn, it was way harder than it looks when you just see the finished product and can just think I sat down one day and make it all come to life without complication. Writing a novel-length piece of fiction is tough. I plan to do more, but I no longer have the idea I'll be able to just pump out a piece every couple months like clockwork at a couple thousand words a day. Marriage. I think many people believe that they will be romantically in love with the person they are marrying. In many ways you do, but most with long successful marriages will tell you it takes work to make a marriage last a lifetime. That level of commitment is hard to maintain. The rewards are enormous and you'll never be closer to another human if you're doing it right. My wife and I just celebrated our 40th and we've known each other for more than 45 years, planning on being together till end. Everybody wants to talk about the happy times, the falling in love stuff, which is very important, but I kinda look at it a little different. You've got to be able to carry each other's baggage. We all have our own emotional shit we drag around with us from a lifetime of experiences. Can you pick each other up during the low moments? That's what makes a strong marriage. It's we and us, not you and me. Atari video games, they look basic, but for crying out fucking loud. Diapering a baby, feeding a baby, getting a baby to sleep looks easy until you have 12 babies in your classroom that all need to be diapered, fed, and rocked to sleep in the next 15 minutes. Keeping them alive is a battle too. It's like they're actively trying self-destruct. Finding one of those shitty underpaid, under-respected jobs that people can't wait to leave. Doing anything when you have depression. I second this seriously. Anything. Being a server, I worked in many different front of the house positions in restaurants and bars, including ming and running cocktail programs. Holy shit, without the bar to protect you from the herd, you're just hanging in the open trying to get a rhythm that will cover the most ground and give the most service. I've never made it a serving shift without forgetting to enter in an important part of an order. Bartending is all about managing interactions. And throughput serving is about getting treated like your name is boy and trying to balance the needs of your customers with the amount of them and the throughput of the kitchen that you do not have up to the minute information on. Online dating. As a girl, I have a wide range of prospects, but it's a lot of work to find someone I actually want to meet, and I'll generally have some good first dates when I do, but then the guy goes Maya. Reminding yourself that Japanesey isn't a thing anymore. Looking presentable every day. Any competitive video game, a lot people think it's easy to make money from esports. I've heard many times they're just playing video games, they shouldn't be making so much money. Well then, try. Yay, people like to ignore the 12+ hours per day playing one game, maybe even one character in one game every day, just to be competitive at a tournament level. It's hell on the body. Science. There's a huge difference between being a scientist and being a fan of science. Both are important, but they aren't the same. A lot of people take a science class or start following a science-based Facebook/Twitter/subreddit and only see the successes. Science is a critical, thought-heavy endeavor that requires equal parts patience, smarts, and luck. As a researcher doing basic science, you're going to have 90% negative data for every scientific publication you see. There are months or even years of negative data behind it. The stuff that science fans and chilladers share on Facebook from pages like I fucking love science is distilled from the frustrations and efforts of scientists that probably drink heavily. The water level from the Northeast's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game. Giving a woman an orgasm, orally, like, by just talking to her. An on and skateboard. Life after university graduation. People always say that they can't wait to graduate, but little did they know it's just gonna be an uphill battle from there. Keeping it calm. Fuck you, meme. At the very sight of keep it calm, I remember everything what's wrong with this world. Creating a routine is the easy part, actually following through and maintaining that routine is the problem. Telling the people closest to you that you're not okay and that you need help. You think about it and you play it out in your head, then your stupid brain takes the worst possible response/outcome that could happen if you reached out and puts it front and center on repeat. Any legitimate reaction or discussion is then hidden behind the thought of being ridiculed for weakness, mockingly point out your flaws, minimizing the situation, etc. So then you hide it, you fake it, and just cruise through the day on autopilot until a week or two passes by and you consider it again. You repeat the cycle, continuously beating yourself up in your own head. If you're strong enough, you deal with it for years, decades. Even if you're not, it starts to manifest into the real world and starts to affect how you behave and how you interact with the world and others. Maybe you start to isolate yourself, fearing that the next conversation you have you might slip and say something that will let the cat out of the bag. You may even become hostile or domineering to people because that level of interaction is the easiest kind to get. Or maybe it's just fun Or in the worst case you turn to different substances to just make it go away for a while. You go through these motions over and over and over and over again, but you just end up back at the beginning, thinking about how all the friends you went to school with are now married with kids, and are buying their first homes, or are now really finding their rhythm with their careers, and are starting to climb the ladders in their respective fields. Maybe both, while you sit here, alone, on Reddit, putting thoughts that you've had for months into text, kind of hoping that it gets buried. All because you couldn't find a way to say I don't know what I'm doing, and I need help. Doing makeup. Sleeping, so envious of people being able to sleep anytime and anywhere. Brexit. Gardening, it isn't just water it and you're good. It's constant attention, care, and maintenance. It's really a lot of work if you have a decent sized garden, but in my opinion well worth it once you're eating what you grew. Edit. Sometimes I can't figure out formatting. Letting go. No, you won't just switch it off, you won't just stop it. When you want, you won't stop craving for it, you won't stop missing it, you'll always get yourself almost back to it, because you've made a habit to do it so many times daily that your brain hardly ever registers when you're consciously with it. I'm sure you guys understand, it could be drugs, it could be a toxic relationship, it could be a hobby that you just can't see yourself not ever stop practicing because of how much joy it brings to you. Like gaming, or handicrafts, or even your very job, but you must stop it because of other, more important and more immediate reasons. It hardly matters what is it about, and yet switching it off of your life will always be hard. If you must let it go, against all odds, against your own wishes, then be strong, you'll probably never be prepared for it, no matter how much you steel yourself. But you can hang on. Handwriting things neatly, I just can't do it. Self-publishing a book, okay, it's easy to just toss some words on a page, upload it to Amazon, and get it published, but actually getting people to buy your book once it's out there is insanely hard. It doesn't matter how good your book is, nobody knows who you are, so there's no reason for them to click buy on your book. You need to do everything you can to promote it yourself, which can include paying out of your own pocket for ads that may or may not help. Source: I self-published a novel, stumbled at the promoted step, and had dismal sales. Now I have the sequel written and awaiting beta readers. I'm going to need to try the whole promote myself thing again, and hope I have better luck. Going in soft. Doesn't that defy laws of physics, namely first law of physical attraction? Changing a headlight for a newer Chevy, it involves the bumper and stuff I miss, twist and pull. The whole point of this tired question was just to put that stupid title. Plugging in the USB on the first try. Playing the holophone. Reading my textbook instead of Reddit. It's right here, in front of me, open to the correct page. Being a good dad, shit is tough. I have a 18-month-old daughter and my wife is expecting I get up for work, and 12 hours later I'm back at home, and almost as soon as I walk through the door, I'm on dad duty. Trying to entertain my daughter, give my wife some time to relax, sort out dinner, clean the house, all these things need to be done, and time to do them doesn't exist. Then there's Tim to exercise, which I haven't spent quality time with the wife, and then hobbies. I'm a gamer. It's a thankless job at time, but man, if my daughter's hugs don't just melt me every time. The real heroes are the single parents and those with kids with disabilities. You have strength beyond comprehension. Upvote purely for the in the thick of it reference. Coming up with witty comebacks on the spot. Convincing people that rough tough lemon stuff is a better alternative to easy peasy lemon squeezy than difficult lemon difficulties. Rehab and sobriety. I always thought it would be easy, but the first week was hell. I went in for alcoholism and I couldn't bathe myself. I was so sick those first few days. The next 7 weeks were basically training myself in self-control and how to accept my addiction. In 1 year and 7 months clean, and out of the 20 people I met in the program, 10 relapsed. And 2 of the relapses were fatal overdoses. Breastfeeding a newborn. Those cool ass construction and home decoration videos on YouTube, they make it look so easy and even, but these workers literally do it for a living. I can't even fold paper exactly in half on the first try. Riding horses like more than just a trail ride. People who have been doing it for a long time make it look so effortless, but it's such a workout. Also, you have to be strong and unmoving with half your body parts, but loose and fluidly moving with the other half of them. Making friends, also getting updates. Commenting something witty more than 5 hours after a post is made and expecting someone to notice. Like and subscribe for good luck, you handsome gentleman.